Hello? 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 Um, People, I was listening to Pastor Dow today. Um, and I was listening to the pastor, and surprise, the pastor was sounding like me. He was sounding like me. And what do I mean when I say that the pastor was sounding like me? What I'm saying is, people, we all know, for those that do know, we all know how YouTube gets down. We all know that YouTube will uh, kill your channel. We all know that YouTube don't give 2 cents about you. We all know that. And I have had this done to me. I have had 14,000 subscribers, making lots of money, channel taken down, um, women complaining, um, you know, uh, um, that's that's the way that goes. Um, so it it forced me. Hold on. Let me see. There's a bunch of fire trucks. Bunch of fire trucks in front of my house. Oh, they're next door. They're next door. All right, they're next door. My camera system picked up a whole bunch of stuff. All right, so it ain't my house. Thank God. Okay. All right, so okay. All right, I'm back. Right, 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 right. All right. All right. Okay. So, um, I want to talk to you guys tonight about communication. And I want to talk to you about communication because I was trying to understand why why I am the way that I am when it comes to communication. So I'm going to talk about communicating with my mom. I'm going to talk about communicating with my dad, and I'm going to talk about communicating with my brothers, and I'm just going to talk about communication because as a businessman, I had to communicate with thousands. Remember, my client count is well over 200,000. And saying something to a client and then getting a response, I want to help y'all understand why communication is so important to me. But I want to take y'all to the origins of my communication skills. People, I am the youngest of four boys. I'm the youngest. As the youngest of four boys, I never got a chance to talk. I never got a chance. Um, I remember my mom telling my brothers, be quiet and let Chris talk. Despite what y'all may think, and people that know me, I don't like to talk. And I don't like to talk that I realized that when I was younger, talking was an establishment. You're trying to simply establish yourself. That's what talking is, communication. But I realized that as I got older, people will be better off talking to somebody that don't have no intellect. So my communication skills, although they are upper tier, top tier, and I know this because when I went to court, after all, they say all rise, all parties involved come forward, all come forward, and the judge will hear your arguments, or you will hear somebody say the prosecutor's closing arguments. Arguing is communication. The problem is we took the term of arguing to heated discussion. But if me and you talking, that is simply arguing. But we don't know arguing as a good thing. We only know arguing as a bad thing. That's another intellect. I know. I'm just making myself look bad. But I need y'all to follow me. As the youngest of four boys and wasn't being heard, as I got older, I realized where my stage was. Now, I'm going to say stage because, remember, I'm the guy that told you we all have our audience. We all have our audience. And a lot of you don't understand the reason why when you're talking to your girlfriend, the reason why she want to take y'all business to the girls, because those are her audience. The reason why stupidity runs supreme, you guessed it, audience. So I realized that as I got older, people was fond of my intellect. So I then found and realized that when I talk, people liked it. I realized that when I talked, people benefited from it. When I talked, I would change your life. That's what I realized. Right? Now I need y'all to follow me. Okay. Let me get a water break, if y'all don't mind. Individuals got 13 minutes on Unplugged, and I'm killing the feed. The link below for the hated one. Facts at 100%. The link is below. Come subscribe to me over here. So I found my arena. This wasn't more evident. This became evident when I went into the military. When I came into the military, you wasn't supposed to be a private that was only in 6 months sitting at the table with NCOs and giving advice. This is a table that was reserved for individuals that had at least 10 years in or more. I'm 6 months. Everybody sitting at the table was older than me. But I need y'all to follow me. Because I'm talking about communication tonight. Appreciate you guys for being here. Honestly, you could have been anywhere else in the world. Hey, listen, man, if you're new to the channel, man, please, by all means, subscribe to my channel. Over here, Facts at 100%, a.k.a. the hated one. Like and share my videos, man. So I realized that when it came to arguing, I realized that I had a lane. All right. This became even more evident when Atia LaShawn Bradley said, I'm going to take you down in front of the white man. You know, words spoken from our black women. I'm going to take you down in front of the white man, and the white man is going to set you straight because you're a black man. People don't know judge want to see me in court. I say that now. I will always say that. Don't know. It's obvious Atia LaShawn Bradley hates me. Where's any lawsuits that I'm saying her name or slandering her? There are none. The best thing she can do is the typical get a nigga system, which is a restraining order. Now, I need y'all to follow me because I'm talking about communication. Some would say communication is key. I am only going to ask communication is the key to what exactly? People, my communication skills are top tier. Top tier. All right? My communication skills are top tier. I was in court one time and the prosecutor was trying to trip me up when I was filing a bankruptcy. The prosecutor was trying to make it seem like I did something wrong. He kept holding up a paper in my bankruptcy and said, you filed this. I said, yeah, this right here. I said, yeah, this right here. I said, listen, we up at the bench. And the reason why we was at the judges right up at the bench is because they was trying everything in the world to intimidate me. So much to the point where the stenographer was like, every time I talked, she was get mad and huff and puff like, you ain't showing the court no respect. I did show the court respect. But a black man is not supposed to even talk when he go to court because that's disrespect. I'm supposed to go in there and just bow down like a itch. But I need y'all to follow me. But I communicated so well that I won a federal lawsuit on my own with no attorney. And I won that lawsuit. I won that case because the judge, and this is no lie, the judge simply had on a gold watch. And when the judge was trying to intimidate me, I said, look in here. That's a gold watch you got on. Please don't think you're going to come out here and act like you mad at me. I told Judge James Triano, I'm not going to tell you I intimidate easily. I'm here to tell you I don't intimidate at all. I communicate that very well. When I'm in relationships, I communicate what I'm not going to tolerate. I communicate what I'm not going to do. I communicate that very well. My dad was like me all the time on some bully stuff all the time. My dad, communicating with my dad was asking him something over the phone. Everything he say to you, you say yes. As a 6-year-old boy, my dad had me in New York City. Chris, take this package to that building. Hey, listen, when you come back, we'll be coming around. What building in New York City? Every building in New York City is a building. But my dad, everybody, we were so scared of my father. When he talked, we didn't say nothing. So we didn't communicate back with Todd Smith. We were scared of him. I need y'all to follow me. When I resumed a relationship with my father, I would talk to my dad. I would communicate with my dad like, "Hey, Dad, what's up?" When the first I had a relationship with my dad a little over 2 years before he died. When I first started calling my father, I'd be like, "Yo, Pop, what's up?" He'd be like, "Hey." He wasn't used to that. He was used to being Todd. He wasn't used to nobody playing with him. You didn't play with my father. I did. I played with my father. He said, "You can't hear me? Hold on." I can't hear you, bro. Something is happening. Yeah, I see that. Hold on. I don't think this has a mute. Hold on. Can't hear me? Yeah, I see that. Hold on. I got sound on my end. I don't think this has a mute. Yep, I got sound on my end. You might want to try to come over to unplugged. I'm sorry. Come over to Facts at 100%. The link is below the video. If you can't hear me, I can hear it as I'm looking at it. Let me make sure I got sound on. I got sound over there as well. Yeah, it's not on my end, Rube. All right, so as I was saying, you didn't nobody joked around with my father. I did. Um, the way I communicated with my father, I would call my father, and I would what I would do with my father is I would call my father up for the littlest things. And I would call my father up. My front door camera keep going off. Hold on. All right, so um, I would call my father for the littlest things to give my father the job of being a father. I would call my dad up for the littlest things so that my dad can simply be the father. Give my dad that father and son time. That was the only reason why I called Todd Smith. 95% of the stuff, 70% of the stuff that me and my dad, that I called my dad about, I already knew. But the beautiful thing about the Todd Smith last days is when I called my dad and I said, "Hey, Pop, what's up?" He'd be like, "Hey, son, what you doing?" I broke my dad I got my dad. I I I got my dad to communicate to me like I was communicating to him. I was the type of person that I didn't see my dad like everybody else seen my dad. I seen my dad as a man that was unfortunately on borrowed time from the perspective of he just did wrong in life. My dad was a womanizer. When I tell my sister this, it's hard for her to comprehend that. But my dad was a womanizer. And when you're a womanizer, you really don't respect women like you should. You don't respect women at all. Womanizer. So my dad didn't understand the need and how a woman was to balance him out. People, let me go left on this for a second. Um, I would always communicate to women what I want, and that was always a problem. What I was happy about is last year when love came knocking on my door, I was able to receive it. I was able to communicate with it. I think the unfortunates of a lot of people that when we get old, we don't know how to get off our bull, and we tend to think it's business as usual when we're in a relationship, and it's not. So what I met a lot of women that don't want to be in a relationship, but they want to be married. Let me say that again. They don't want to be in a relationship. They simply want to be married. I met women that don't want to be in a relationship, but they want a man. If you can go ahead and figure those two things out, once again, you'll be teaching me something. Individuals, come on over here and check me out on the Hated One. Link is below the video. So when you talk about um, when you talk about uh, communication, um, if I could talk about, I didn't put this up there, but I'm gonna talk about when I was when I was in a relationship with Atia LaShawn Bradley, and I'm gonna tell you what this woman, how this woman communicated. Um, this woman communicated with anger. She communicated with hatred. Um, Atia LaShawn Bradley, um, as me and my man James was talking about today, about he had a woman that he hadn't spoken to in about 10 years called him up, and she called him up because she was trying to ask my man James about the perspective of men, and he said no, because I'm gonna tell you something. I know you, and you don't. You, when you were with me, you wasn't trying to be accountable for nothing. People, that's not a very good communication skill. Communication, and I don't think people understand communication. Do you know in communication, every word is just as important as the one before it, and every word is just as important as the word after it? Communication is a link. Communication is this part I'm a lie and this part I'm gonna be truthful. This part I can comprehend well, this part I can't. That's not communication. I'm gonna tell you now how I used to communicate with my mom. My mom's perspective in life was give me my flowers while I'm living. This is what my mom communicated, and that is what I listened to. You see, people, what individuals don't understand when it comes to communication, communication is something based on that particular moment. Here's what I've learned about people when it comes to communication. Everybody else communicated with me this way. This is what I am to everybody else. And try to apply to everybody else's perspective here. People, I do not expect people to treat me like I got treated in the military. I don't expect people to bow down to me and put me on a pedestal like I was in the military. I don't expect people to treat me like the over 200,000 clients that I helped. I don't expect people to treat me like my credit report. I don't expect people to treat me like when I go get a part from one of my BMWs. I don't expect people to treat me like that. The treatment that an individual give me is that which is on an individual basis. I've never met a person that understood that. Not a woman. I never met a person that understood that. So I'm not talking about a woman now. I never met a person that understood that. What I'm meeting and what I'm seeing is individuals when it comes to communication, they only want communication from the perspective of good and not here's an example of what I mean. A person that commits a crime. It's easy for them to communicate the fact that, the money had the bank had excuse me, the bank had money in it, I wanted it. It's easy for them to understand that communication. It's hard for them to understand the communication of the judge when they're standing in front of them. My mom communicated to us, give me my flowers while I'm living. People, no son had a relationship with with my father like me. No son had a relationship with our mother like me. Everybody else was a passing through son. I was a sit down, talk to you son. And I'm going to get to that. What's going on, Insatiable? I see you. So my mom communicated to me, to us, excuse me, give me my flowers while I'm living. I did that. And in doing that, and in talking to my mom, because I was one of the sons that I went to go see I was the only son, excuse me, that went to go see my mom. I didn't go see my mom once every 10 years. I didn't call my mom once on Mother's Day and Christmas. I called my mom at least 6 to 7 times, sometimes 8 times a week. I went to see my mom numerous times a year. My brother, to date, since my mom moved to Florida in 1994, he went to visit her twice. I was in tune to my mother. This is why my mom was able to say to me all the hurtful and all the hurtful and hateful things that she said to me. This was this happened because I was the regular son. Because once again, my mom communicated to me, give me my flowers while I'm living, and so I did. People, should I go out on a limb here and say that a person's communication skills will tell you the depth of just what they want? Will I be going out on a limb by saying that? If I wanted a job and I went to that job with a job interview with jacked up clothes on, didn't shave, and smelled musty, what exactly am I communicating to the person that's interviewing me? I am not, I'm sure as hell not communicating to them that I actually want the job. I'm not communicating that. When you're communicating with someone, it should be from the perspective of resolution. Communication is a beautiful thing. The last day my dog was here, she communicated to me that I gotta go. She communicated that with me. She communicated with me, this my time is up. I'm old. She communicated that to me. You know, um, one of the things that hurt me the most um, is that I had her when she was a puppy, and then she got old on me. And you know, I used to live in the back of this studio when I was paying off my bills, and uh, I, 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 I would say the only reason why I brought my house is because my dog was getting old, and I said, you know, when I when I when I got my dog, I had almost 2 acres, and she would be able to run all day and have fun. And then I moved down here to Virginia, and it was apartment, townhouse, townhouse, and I was like, I got to give my dog somewhere to when it's time for her to go, she can go, and I did, and she communicated that with me. You know, people communication is that in which is done on a second grade comprehension level. Nobody should be trying to communicate with somebody only to then say, okay, this conversation is over with. So I'm gonna end it with that. People, nobody should have to fight for communication. Nobody. I mean, it's communication. Nobody should have to fight for it. Um, you shouldn't be go to the store and order a pizza with oregano and corn, and then they give you a pizza with Brussels sprouts, and you said I ordered a pizza with oregano and corn. You can communicate that very well, but you can't talk. As you're communicating with somebody, go through the checks and balances of comprehension. And if that individual is just showing you that I got no interest in comprehension, then it's not good. It really isn't. You know, you know. I love communicating. I love communication. Um, I'm learning though. I'm learning. Insatiable says I have a cat which I love a lot. That is not a bad thing. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night, y'all.